I want to say this is part 4 of our install. So before we just hop right into installing our 4 fuel pumps, rewiring everything up to 4 relays, a hop switch, and all that good stuff for our beautiful RADIUM surge tank, we got to do something real quick. Now hop it up to our stepping stool. Thank you, Torco. We're going to be using this vent valve here. Now I just want to briefly go over what this vent valve is for our fuel cell. So a vent valve or a rollover valve, it actually vents the vapors that are inside the gas tank. That way, whenever you add fuel, it doesn't pressurize the fuel tank and explode. Now obviously the venting, if the car unfortunately was to flip over, you have a ball inside here which is like a check valve. So this little guy is going to allow us to vent our fuel cell, but at the same time, worst case scenario, we flip over, there's no fuel that's going to rush out. Now some say having a mechanical fuel pump may have been the easier and better way, but honestly there's so many guys that use mechanical fuel pumps, and you know, we just kind of wanted to do a little bit something different, try it out and see if we like it. We're going to install the vent valve probably right there. Also, a magnet helps when drilling to kind of catch all the metal shavings. I must say, that fits just like a glove. This is probably the easiest part of this entire fuel system build. Well, maybe if somebody was up there to hold it. Yeah. Nice. So the main goal for today is to get the wiring from the front of the battery all the way back here. We had a couple options. Real fast. You guys always wondered why I call this car Black Widow. Well, but you can see the amount of spiders this car collects is insane. Look at all this stuff. It's been sitting here for, I kid you not, maybe like 2 or 3 days. And there's hundreds of them. Oh, I need to hurry up. The first step into this madness is we're going to be mounting the relays. That way we have a general idea of our total length of line that we're going to need. Now the first step into any good electrical system is a good ground, and in order to make a good ground, you guys got to shave off any paint, any material that is not pure metal. Kind of like how these bolts had some metal coating on it. You want to grind it down where it's pure metal. As long as you have a good chassis ground, which we do, this should work no problem with no voltage drop, if any. So next up on our relays, we're going to be running the power supply, which is the 2 red large wires here. We're going to be running them inside the car, but we're also going to be running a blue wire as well. That's for the RADIUM surge tank level sensor, and we're going to be putting the LED light somewhere in the dash up there. Also, I'm running all the power supply through the plastics, but I'm definitely using a grommet. Obviously, I don't want to make sure that it's away from any metal or anything like that, but you can kind of see that we're just going to be following what I originally had in the first place, which is going to be coming down the 2G inside, which is underneath the carpet, which is all along here, under the floorboard, which goes into the dark abyss up there, which is in a grommet going to the firewall. Out she comes. Beautiful. It's decent. So next up we have to go ahead and do the signal wire that goes from the fuel pump to the relays. So on the stock fuel pump harness, we have a black and blue wire. This wire, it's actually the command and the original signal for the power supply to the original fuel pump. We're going to use the power supply to the fuel pump for a trigger wire for all of our relays. And that just means we got to run the wire from way over there all the way to over here. Trust me when I say I'm trying to stay organized, but well, you can see it's kind of a rat nest right now. Temporary. Now that I got the signal wire from the fuel pump, this is the wire that gets 12 volts whenever you turn the key on. Now this is going to be our trigger wire that's going to come back to the relays that are connected to every single pin on pin 86. Such as, for example, all these blue wires are pin 86 on the relays, and whenever this gets power, obviously it's going to ground out this relay and obviously send the big wire, which is the big power wires, is going to send the fuel pump power. Now I kind of been making things a little bit nicer. I got some stuff wrapped up in wire loom where the relays look a tad bit nicer. It's still a rat nest, but we're getting close. Now moving on to the ground wires. Now these 3 wires, they're supposed to be black, but unfortunately they're blue, but it's okay. We're going to be using these to ground the surge tank. Now what I mean by grounding the surge tank is on the negative side for each fuel pump, it's going to have a direct ground. So on this lug, and this lug, we're going to have that blue wire connected to each one of these wires, and it's going to go straight to a chassis ground. And like I mentioned, the chassis ground that we're going to be using is right behind the headlight assembly. So next up, under the car, we're going to have to wire up the Bosch 44 fuel pump. This is technically our lift pump. Unfortunately, we're still waiting on some fittings, so it's not 100% done yet, but you can kind of see what we're after here. Now here's our lift pump, which is a massive Bosch 44. And of course, the fuel pump requires a ground and a power supply. As far as the ground wire, we're going to use this bolt and grind off all this paint and just bolt it up right here. That's going to be a great ground for it. Now the power supply, we're actually going to be running a wire from there. I went ahead and drilled a grommet, which is right here, and we're going to be sticking one of the wires through. Which that wire is this large red one, which is connected to our 4th relay. You know, I hate bragging, but you know, this ground wire is looking pretty dang good. And of course, on the frame, we went ahead and grinded all the paint off. Like I said, you got to make sure that all your grounds are bare metal. Doesn't look bad though. This is the level switch center. One wire is going to be going straight to ground right here because it just makes sense, and then the other wire is going to get connected to our blue wire that's up there, which goes straight up to the dash, which is way up there, and we're going to be mounting an LED. That way, if the LED shines, it says that this surge tank is low, which obviously indicates there's a problem. Each fuel pump gets its own ground. Super simple, easy, just make it look clean. And then pin 87, which are these 2 yellow wires, and unfortunately we had to use a red wire because we didn't have no more yellows. But these wires are going to be the power supply that's going to the fuel pumps. You kind of see what I was talking about, how the positive wire is the yellow wires, which is coming off the relay, and the blue wires are the ground, which goes right to this lug. You know, for some reason I keep on working till nighttime, but man, that sunset though, dude, check it out. And it's going to be morning in 3, 2, 1. Good morning. I hope you're having a great day, an amazing day, because today we're going to be starting this thing. Recap. We finally got the wiring done, more or less, pretty much all bolted up. This is how the wiring's going to be set up. I don't know if I should put some wire loom around here too, like I did on the bottom to kind of make it look nice. But for the most part, everything's looking pretty good. I went ahead and got the fuel lines bolted up to the chassis. It looks pretty good. And of course, we got all this room in the world because we no longer have a gas tank, which is pretty nice if you ask me. And all those connections. Man, looking good. You know, you guys, this is what progress looks like. I mean, it was once clean, organized, beautiful. By the end of it, it's looking like a complete nightmare. You can kind of see what we have going on right here, and I am trying to be the cleanest I can. Obviously, it's not working out. Also, Harbor Freight, dude, all this wire for like 40 bucks. Thank you. Fitting 552 is finally finished. Oh man, dude, making these custom lines and all these fittings are kind of getting a freaking sore on me. It's looking pretty good. Wait, what's that smell? Oh, we got mail. You know, you guys, what's in this box is actually probably one of the most coolest things you'll ever see. You know, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but well, you see, I have a problem, and that problem, well, it includes coffee. A lot of it. In the last 3 years, I probably consumed over 900 cans of Monster Mean Beans. Now, for some reason, I'm still alive, so just so you guys know, the Monster Mean Beans won't kill you. Now, of course, we have to have it in the special refrigerator to keep all the Mean Beans nice and cold. Also, dude, check out this cake that Anna made. Insane, right? Also, anybody like gold? Sick. You guys ready to see it? It doesn't look bad. It almost looks like a little spider going on back here. Honestly, a mechanical fuel pump probably would have been the more easier part, but like I said in the beginning of this whole series, everybody uses a mechanical fuel pump. I really wanted to try out the RADIUM surge tank with 3 fuel pumps and see how it works out. Now we have 4 relays, 1, 2, 3, 4 relays. This last relay is wired up to our lift pump, which is pretty much a Bosch 044 fuel pump, which is under the car, which is that guy there, which it's pretty much going to suck out of our fuel cell, and it's going to be pumping it into our surge tank. From the surge tank, it's going to go to this fuel filter, which is a 10 micron filter, and obviously the fuel line goes straight up to the engine bay. You know, I wish we could say we're done, but we need to do one last thing. And it's probably the most important part. Now here comes the best part of building any car or anything that you guys do. All the fuel lines were 100% custom. We had to cut them using a cutter. We cleaned it out as best as we could before we installed it. However, we have to thoroughly clean every single fuel line that's on this car which includes removing all the fittings out of every single connection. Now what I mean by flushing a line out, you're gonna get some carb spray. Honestly, I like carb spray because it's better than brake cleaner because it evaporates a whole lot faster. And you're gonna wanna spray a good amount inside the fuel line. And then with compressed air, you're gonna spray it out. And you're gonna do that back and forth to every single line and every single fitting. That ensures you get majority of it out. Obviously the filters are there to protect it, but you just want the extra insert. Unfortunately, that's gonna take forever, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing that now. Hopefully it might be done soon. However, in the meantime, how do you think I did? Go ahead and put it down in the comments. Do you like the setup? Do you not like it? So now that we're all done, all the lines are properly cleaned. So now we're gonna turn on the fuel pump to purge the system and make sure there's no leak. On the fuel rail, I have it blocked off, and then I have the main feed line going into this wonderful tide. It smells delicious. That way we can purge all the air out, and obviously it doesn't make a big old mess. Obviously we got to fill it with C16, but it's about 4 gallons full. The problem with this one is it has about 10% of 91 octane versus the C16. Obviously 120, 118 octane versus 91, it dilutes it. I don't want to use this. Honestly, we'll probably put it in the Supra or the Evo and have some fun with that one. But we have a brand new can of C16, unopened, so it's 100% pure, 120 octane. You know, this is the good stuff. The Torco 118, I mean, I have about maybe 1.5 gallons left. This is best used as a stepping stool. Now, hopefully this works. Honestly, I'm a little bit terrified. Now, when I say I have to find a better way to put in fuel, oh, you guys know I make a mess. Nope, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna spill this air everywhere. And if you guys don't know, C16 is like $125. So I really don't want to waste like 1 gallon of this stuff. I need to figure something else out. So it definitely helps having a second person here. Thanks, Anna. And I think we're ready for our first prime up, guys. You know, I'm kind of big on safety, so just in case. Now, nothing should happen when I put the negative terminal on, but you never know. But we are going to be using ECM link to turn on the fuel pump. So when I do activate the fuel pumps, it is going to take a while to fill up the surge tank as well. The surge tank holds about 1 gallon of fuel. Do it again. Oh, I hear something. Yeah, that filled up. That was nice. Don't see any fuel leaks just yet. Obviously, we have to pressurize it. So now that everything's kind of plumbed together, everything's kind of bled, we're going to just go ahead and activate the fuel pumps on. Probably leave it on for about a good 15 seconds to purge everything on. That way we can get a real number on our fuel pressure. Also, here is our live fuel pressure. Now remember, we're hoping for about 43 PSI, but I know it's going to be a lot higher because we have 3 fuel pumps going at the same time. Activate fuel pumps on. Fuel pumps are on. There it goes. Fuel pressure, we're at 52, 50 PSI? No way. Oh wait, 60 PSI, 63 PSI, 66, 67, 70 PSI of fuel pressure. Sweet Jesus, that regulator is gonna explode. We're at 67.5 PSI right now, holding rock steady. That is way too much. More or less, this would simulate idle. The problem is the fuel pressure regulator is not regulating the amount of fuel pressure. It's over, our 4 fuel pumps are overflowing this little baby regulator. I can adjust it down and hopefully relieve some of that pressure. But the problem is I already have it backed out from the beginning. So obviously that means we need to install the hop switch, our 2 relays that are for the 2 fuel pumps inside, and just have 1 fuel pump running. And like I said, I knew that was gonna happen. I really wanted to see what it would do with 3 fuel pumps running. Obviously, it's 67.5 PSI. Now by disconnecting the 2 relays, which is number 2 and number 3, more or less I'm simulating on what the vehicle would actually do with a hop switch. A hop switch would obviously not activate the 2 fuel pumps until it reaches about 4 PSI boost. So at idle, we have 1 fuel pump running. Obviously that should lower down fuel pressure. So by cracking the adjustment free, I can go ahead and move this back and forth, which will obviously change fuel pressure. Now remember, we want about 43.5 PSI. You can kind of slowly see it starting to go down right now. And 43.5 PSI is exactly what we want, 43.9. I like that. We're gonna go ahead and lock it down right there. Let's do this. guys. God dang. Let's check out what's going on here. The return line is doing a pretty good job. It's not splashing like crazy. BEA, beautiful down here. Everything looks fantastic and working amazing. Love it. Definitely got to install that hob switch because we can't have 3 fuel pumps going on at one time, obviously. That idle is about 41.5 PSI. We got to bump it up just a little bit. Battery voltage is 3.3, 3.5 volts. Perfect. Also, air-fuel ratio looking freaking bomb. I'm so happy right now, you guys. It actually works. I'm so happy. Now I gotta clean up this huge giant mess. I hope you guys enjoyed all of these videos. And remember, next week we're taking the car to import face-off. We're gonna be doing 150 mile-an-hour trap speed, hopefully in 9 seconds. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.